Let's go to OJ, man. I saw this the other day when he made that comment about Kaepernick. And I laughed to myself, man, because you know what is you know,
OJ said something about
Kaepernick. He said he shouldn't have made it about the flag, which obviously he never made it about the flag. That's the narrative that, you know, the dominant society and the dominant media wants people to believe, when it's not really about a flag or the military or police in general. It's about, you know, the system. But anyway, OJ basically, you know, comes at him, and it's like, you know, rewind, what was that, 20 years ago? You was begging black people to come out and show support for you. You know what I mean? And you know, it just shows you how funny people could be, where, you know, it's self-serving when it suits him, when he needs people. But, you know, when he wants to get back in the good graces of society, which he never will. I don't know, you know, obviously OJ doesn't get that because he doesn't think he's black either. You know, it makes you shake your head, because you got a brother like Kaepernick who really, like, you know, all the pundits, you could listen to whatever, you know, news station you want to turn to, you know, put your money where your mouth is, did it. They're not talking about that. You know, the man's been good to his word, he's been good to the people, you know, and he's been constructive in what he's talking about. It's not like he's, you know, just spewing venom. Like, he's talking some real talk.
The elders, they're not included in this new movement because they separated themselves. And now they're kind of frustrated because shit is shaking. And it looks fun. You know what I'm saying? And I think it has to be a situation where both sides come together, because the elders have wisdom. They're out of touch. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know what I'm saying, the dudes in the middle, they got to be the gap to the youngest, because the youngest, they got all the energy, but they don't got none of the direction. And dudes in the middle, us, we remember what it's like to have that energy. And we don't got it the same as we used to, so now we're trying to think smarter and figure out how we can make our actions most effective. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, it has to be, we can't leave them niggas out there because they don't know what the fuck they doing and they old. And we can't leave them niggas out there because y'all niggas is young and crazy, because we were them and we gonna be them. You know what I'm saying? And we just see that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Niggas gotta come together. I think that's something that a theme of this show, coming together. But
back in, my man OJ though, man, that breaks my heart, saying, you know what I'm saying? Because OJ is a very talented individual for good reason, man. He did his thing in the football arena. You know, he started out a movie career. Like, he was taking off. He was doing what every athlete wants to do, which is transition after their career, whatever the case may be. And, you know, we was all rooting for OJ, especially around the trial time. So just after all this time being in prison, you think it would have kind of woke him up a little bit, at least, to what the facts are.
Right?
Yeah.
Being that he's been
like, they put you in jail for stealing your own shit. Like, these people don't fuck with you, bro.
Yeah, they was after you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you remember. I remember people being in the street crying when the verdict was read. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was deep. It was deep. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just after seeing that, you think it would have an effect on a man, but just to see there's no change in that mentality, that's disappointing, man. That's disappointing, man.
And he is who he is, man.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's just part and parcel of him being consistent at minimum. You know, it just it breaks your heart, like you said, though, man. Because, you know, I think, again, even though people had no reason to be there for him, people was there for him when he was going through it. And again, you can have your opinions on what really happened or didn't happen, but you know, I think it's questionable that people went to bat for him. Hindsight, you know, being 2020, where you're like, come on, man.
Nah, it's cool, because I feel like we did what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to have his back regardless. You know what I'm saying? That's our brother. He fucked up and he crazy. You know what I mean? But that's still our brother. That's still our elder. So if he is in that situation, versus them people, we gonna be there for him. Fuck it. And whether he did it or not, if he did, you beat the system. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't, you beat the system.
That happens
so,
every
you know
day.
What I mean?
Yeah, man.
So one up for OJ.
One crazy part, like the last maybe 30 to 60 seconds of that conversation, the way we spoke about OJ, we could easily speak about Obama, where, like, it's questionable what he did and what he didn't do, but we stuck with him because we were supposed to stick with him. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, in his defense too, I think he's a guy who, he's not infallible, where he did some good. You know, did he do a great good or a lasting good? I mean, we know there's no policies in place that are gonna last forever, but he has some good things he did, man. You know, I mean, I'm not the biggest Obama lover in the world, but you know, at least there were some things you could say, all right, I think he did have good intention with, and I think he did a few things that were beneficial.
Some areas,
you know,
take that tip back, put that hat back on.
what you expect is politics. So it's that game. If you win that game, you're gonna play that game, or you ain't gonna be in that game.
But like you said,
You
he
know
was.
what I mean?
He beat the system.
Yeah, he played his part within that arena. You know what I'm saying? So I would never say nothing like bad about Obama. Like if we had some other people over here speaking ill of him, like I wouldn't join in that conversation and agree, even though I do have my own negative opinions of him.
Right.
I'm not joining y'all because y'all might be saying certain things for a different reason. You understand what I'm saying? So I just try, you know, certain things we gotta keep on this side of the fence. So you're right. We showed up for him, as, you know, for him as well.
Right.
We acted according to plan or according to code.
And the impact was felt.
Yeah, most definitely. So, you know, these are small examples, and we can shift that power in any direction.
Well, it's a skill set as a people that we can use collectively.
Yeah.
When we want to.
Word up. If we say that's what it is, then that's what it is.
Like, they did some funny style shit on Snapchat, and they had this cute little game that was like, would you want to punch Chris Brown or slap Rihanna?
Yeah, okay.
And Rihanna was like, fuck Snapchat. Everybody who fuck with me, take Snapchat off your phone.
How much money they lost?
Like $6 million. Like,
I heard it was 800 million, bro.
Yeah, I
heard 800 million.
I heard that number too on the radio.
And I said, oh shit. I said, no way, no how. But I think that's circulated. You know, and you talk about power, man.
Or maybe it was like
she went Malcolm X like
viewers, users.
Straight up.
See that, though?
Yeah.
As soon as she pointed, everybody.
But that's power that we have.
Influence, man.
And we can swing around anytime we want to. And like that's the reverse side of it. Usually we put, you know what I'm saying, the like on brands and they blow up. Like, you know what I'm saying, somebody will say Givenchy and all of a sudden
but it's the power of
everybody
social
mortgaging
media.
their future for
it's
it.
the power to just reach everybody on your own time, on your own platform.
Yeah.
And you can say whatever you want. People know the power of that camera. They'll pick it up quick. Anytime they're in the business, they feel they're being done wrong. That camera come out.
Yeah.
Now it's a different situation. You know what I'm saying?
Now there's accountability involved.
It changes the game, man. But you're right. It's power. But it could be shifted in any direction. But that's crazy. 800 million just from one little 15, 20-second clip. Bam. Done. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
Talk about her next negotiation for her next contract. See what kind of juice I got?
Yeah.
Cut the check.
All of y'all better act right.
Leverage, man.
Word.
Man.
Cut the check.
You know? And that's an audience she built just from being who she is and what she does. You know, it's organic, it's natural. So it's a beautiful thing, man. There's a lot of avenues to this, like we were saying before, this thing called the internet. And I think we really just in the second and third inning, if that. You know what I
It's
mean?
early, man.
Yeah. Possibilities are endless.
Yeah, we were just talking about it, how Toys R Us is dead behind the internet.
Yeah, man.
Like every camera store is dead behind the internet.
No more Jeffrey, man. Jeffrey dead, man. Jeffrey gone, man. No more Giraffe, bro.
Like they're coming for the supermarkets. Coming for the cable companies.
Crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yo, man, I saw this picture online the other day on Twitter that said, in 30 years, the cell phone has replaced, and it was like 20 different things. Fax machine, telephone, TV, mailbox, calculator. Like, it was just, there was so many things, cameras. Like, there was so many things that are now in your phone that just
think about all
unreal.
the industries that went
years.
with those.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there was companies who made calculators.
Right.
Like,
Kodak.
what the fuck is Texas
Polaroid.
Instruments doing these days?
Polaroid, out of business. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Texas Instruments, no thanks, we don't need you.
Right.
Well, now I'll say
They
this,
do other
Texas
things.
Instruments
They do
makes
other
big
things.
science things,
Yeah,
but I think they do a lot of, like, you know,
Yeah.
big
But I see what
computer.
you're saying, though. I see
But it
your
hurt their
point.
profit. You know, definitely hurt their profit. You know, and that's the beautiful thing about technology, which is why, again, it's important that we leverage it, man, and use it. You know, I think for me, like, one of the biggest things I want to do as I approach my 40s is, and it's funny because I got to give my pops credit. Like, I watch my pops literally, man. He'll do tutorials on YouTube. He'll buy videos. He'll subscribe to sites that, like, just so he could be technologically sound as a 60-something-year-old man. He knows his stuff because he'll invest in the time spent to learn it. And it's like, for me, man, I got to learn how to do stuff like that. Learn how to use Excel. You know, learn how to build websites. Learn how to, you know what I mean, build apps. Like, you know, it's not complicated anymore. You know, a lot of that stuff is out there.
Everything's right at your fingertips, man. Everything.
You can find services and things like that that are reasonable. That'll help you.
Yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
can pay for them, like they're on YouTube. Like, I was talking to somebody about it. Like, you can go to Harvard online. Like, that coursework is
Free. It's called Coursera.
yeah, and just
Coursera.
you'll have all the knowledge you
C-O-R-U-S-E-R-A.
want. You know what I'm saying? And you won't have the degree to go on the wall, but If the knowledge is what you're after,
right, and it's free. Coursera is free. You know, definitely a good site to look
you
up.
can do the Matt Damon and be in bars talking fly.
For real.
Anything you want to know is right there. That's why I say, man, if you can read, it's the key to the world. You know, surprisingly enough, we do have a lot of people out here that are illiterate and that cannot read, man. And I mean grown men, you know what I'm saying? And women walking around. That's crazy also.
But everything is about your attitude, man, because there are plenty of people who find a way.
This is true.
You know, and I had this thing at work that says, if you're unwilling to learn, no one can help you. If you're willing to learn, no one can stop you. And that's just like I believe in that all the way to the the bone gristle. Yeah, you know, dope. It's like where there's a will, there's a way, basically. You know, and if you're willing to put in the time and invest in it, you're unstoppable. You know, and that's why again learning about technology is huge, man. Kids learning about coding, the STEM thing. You know, that's really something that we're at a disadvantage in on a daily. But there are different programs out there, and you know, I think I got to give parents credit on things like Facebook that share little things coming up and links and all that, because getting kids involved in that stuff is important, man.
Yeah,
Word.
It is, man.
I be making jokes like, if your kids ain't talking to computers in the future, they don't understand how they work, they ain't having a job that is some type of way related to it, they're gonna be down in the alleys.
Making,
like
making
no,
burgers
the
and
robots
taking
is
care
gonna
of
be
people.
working all the service jobs,
Right.
all the labor jobs.
No, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be hard for niggas.
There's a joint in California, I saw this on 60 Minutes the other day, that literally it's a burger joint that there's robots flip the burgers. Yeah. So at the fry thing is some arm, and it's just flipping burgers all day. Guys like, it keeps things, the program, perfect heat, perfect timing, cooked perfect, blah, blah, blah. And in my head I'm like, I would never eat nothing that's made, in that regard. Like, most of our food is made by robots, so let's keep it 100.
Nah, but tell them what happened.
What do you mean?
To the robot. They had to shut that shit down.
Why?
They said it was too slow.
Really?
Flipping the burgers, yeah.
I saw the one I saw that they were saying it's successful and they expected it to grow. The one that I saw.
After the first day, they call it the Flip-O-Matic or the Flip-O-Tron or somewhere else.
Yeah, and the guy who makes them was trying to sell them. He put the great sales job on, talking about cost benefit and quality of the product, and it's like, nah, man.
Yeah, they shut
You ain't
down.
ready, bro.
And you know what? The worst part is, it's like people need to say we're not going to support that stuff because we want people to have jobs.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's important. Like for me, on principle, I won't go to a burger joint like that ever. And again, we know a lot of our food is made in factories but that visual to me is like, nah, I'm good.
Crazy. It's not like they even have a job when they have a job anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? You just gonna cut them out completely. That's crazy.
What about the idea that maybe we should give the robots our jobs so we can focus on more high concept?
I mean, in the perfect world, that makes sense because it's funny. I forgot what documentary I was watching. It's funny you say that. Where the guy was talking about it, he was like, listen, if we automate certain things in society and create like as they call it, the living wage. I heard there's somewhere in the world they're trying this, where everybody every month just gets a certain amount of money. Your basic living expenses are covered. And I think that that's the world that makes sense because there are certain things that you don't need people to do. And now you can say, all right, let's invest on continuing the science, the technology, going into space, going into the sea. Like you can really dedicate people.
Yeah.
Along with those resources. So it's like, in the perfect world, yeah. But the world ain't designed for that, man. The world's designed for the haves and the have-nots,
Yo, school is interesting, man. They said John D. Rockefeller, or I don't know, whatever Rockefeller he is, right, who invented the board of education. His famous quote was, I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was the whole purpose for the school system in the first place, was to train workers.
And how it is now.
Yeah.
And
to your point, if they bring in these robots, something has to take a shift within the education, like you said. You know what I'm saying? Of the children that are coming up, something has to change in that regard, man.
Who's the guy that runs Alibaba? I think his name is Jack Ma.
Yeah.
Fascinating guy. Like, I love watching and listening to people who are super successful speak, because it really is like eye-opening to say, all right, a lot of the things they believe in, I believe in, and I know people who believe in. And again, when we talk about just basic intellect. So the guy's talking about it, he's like, yo, kids don't need to learn certain things no more. Like he said, the computers are going to do that. You don't need to spend a year learning calculus. The computers are going to do that. And it's like, that's a forward-thinking rich man. He's a minority. You know what I mean? Like you said, the rest of them are like, nah, I want workers. I want you to waste your time toiling on nothing so that you don't enlighten yourself and you don't decide to go in another direction. But it's fascinating that, the world, the education system hasn't evolved with the times, at least not for us in our neighborhoods. I know, again, in some places they learn different, You know, when you talk about team learning versus learning individually. You know, like how does it make sense that you spend your entire learning career, don't look at the guy's paper next to you, don't talk to the person next to you, focus on your own work, and then you get into the working world and they're like, work together. It's like, yo, it's so counterintuitive, man. Yeah. And that's the world I want to live in, where kids are learning around the table and the project is something they all work on, and you know, that builds that community sense, and that's what makes people want to help each other. Again, we're raised to be like, nah, don't worry about them. Take care of yourself. Exactly. And it's like, you know, again, the education system got a lot of catching up to do, man.
Nah, it's real, man.
A lot of catching up.
It's real, man. Speaking about these robots, did y'all hear about what Alexa was doing in people's houses?
Oh, yeah, laughing.
In the middle of the night, laughing, right? One lady walked in and said it started laughing and reading off the names of local cemeteries. I'm like, yo, man.
I don't need one of those in my house.
Yeah, bro, what's going on here?
You know they're coming.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I don't need nothing to talk back to me. Like, I could type and all of that. I don't need all that.
And your cell phone already does that, not for nothing. So none of us got... If you got an Apple or Android, your phone does that.
There's no longer an excuse. Like, if you can't read, I know you're talking.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Google.
I don't even type things sometimes. You know, I just press that microphone. What time, what time is such and such coming on? Boop. You know? What's 10 times 2050?
Yo, and Siri's scary, man. Somebody sent me their address today, right? And all of a sudden, Siri was like, yo, Siri just linked the address with the name in your contacts. Do you want her to update you?
That's wild, yeah.
It's like, yo, what's going on here? I ain't asked you
Siri,
to do all
how
that.
do you know that?
It's the information age, man.
Oh,
I've been watching.
Yeah, she just seen it come through under that name and was like, all right, boom, boom. You know, try to put 1, 2 together, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm outside the window right now.
AI is a scary thing, and that's why you said, man, we're in the early stages. I forgot what they call it, but there's some sort of rule that there's a lifetime for a computer in the course of 3 years, and I bet you as time goes on, that's going to shrink. You know, you see it with these cell phones. Every year, a new one comes out, a new version, new key, features and all that. But you know, technology is phenomenal.
Apple drop a new MacBook every
they've got
2
behind
years,
the curtain.
18 months.
Right. Yeah. Right.
No idea about it.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? Like they got some wow.
Yo, I love Men in Black for that room. You know, where Men in Black, with all the stuff that came from it. Like, I'm a believer there's a room or a vault somewhere that's just like that. Whether things are made here or for what, not to get on no conspiracies talk, but just that the visual is like, yo, man, how could there not? How could there not?
There has to be a collection of shit that
it's not ready yet.
The world isn't ready to
hold on to it.
Man, the universe is vast, and we think we're the only ones here. We some fools, man.
Yeah, right.
We think we've even seen everything there is to see on this planet.
Right.
We even more foolish.
They said we know more about space than we know about the ocean.
Yeah, this is true.
You know the depths of the ocean. So that's
as real as it is. Dinosaur down there, man. Not too long ago.
No, yeah.
Yes, that's for sure. With like fucking 83,000 teeth.
Oh yeah, like still alive and shit.
Like, yeah, they got like
something they hadn't seen in like
800
some ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah. Man. What the fuck going on down there, man?
And that global warming changed everything. So yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
It's crazy. This planet is bugged out. But yeah, man. Speaking of this planet and things being bugged out, man. Did y'all get wind of this new Trump thing going on, where he want to bring in a death penalty? Drug dealers now. He wants to roll out his new legislation on Monday, and this is supposed to be included. For what I'm not particularly sure if it's just any and all drug dealers, or does this particularly just pertain to those dealing opioids, things particularly affecting a certain community. You know what I mean?
But once they put it on that, they start dressing it up for all the others. You know what I mean? So
you got the right Supreme Court for it. I mean, at the end of the day, man, they're gonna push through everything they want. And that's the absurdity of it. There was a time where people would have said that was barbaric, but now it's like, hey, man, everything's off the rails here. Everything's off the rails. Man, he wants to be like that guy in the Philippines, Duterte. My man is literally executing people in the streets.
He has no idea who he is in relation to where he is, and that's a very dangerous thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he understands the seat that he sits in.
He's a kid playing with a gun.
You know what I mean? Pretty much. But everything is like code speak. Even the reason he wants to lay it out of New Hampshire, the governor of New Hampshire came on TV maybe 1 or 2 years ago. And he was like, see, the problem is we got guys from New York and Connecticut coming here to sell their heroin. I'm talking about guys like that are named like Smoothie, Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Coming here. And he was like, see, the problem is half the time they impregnate a young white woman and then go back to do whatever they're doing. And this was his opinion on it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And this is where he's going to roll.
Oh, that's the platform. I got you.
You feel me? This whole situation, whatever. So that's the play. That's the little strategy they running with. But
man, it's gonna get worse before it get better, man. Yeah. It's gonna get worse before it get better. Shit. You know.
Yeah, they definitely. That legislation is something we really need to get into. Like, we just don't. Like, I don't think Trump is an idiot. Like, everything he's wanting to do, he's been doing.
He's crazy like a fox, man. Like you said, I think people are playing him for a dummy.
No, he's not smart at all. I don't think he's smart at all. And I just say that from listening to him talk. Like, he has no command of the English language.
Yeah.
I think he has a certain kind of intellect, though. You know, and that's conniving intellect. You know what I mean? So, like you said, he may not have basic
as an intellect. You know what I'm saying?
It's a strength of his, I guess. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he's strong when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, he's in the arena now where I think he's beating a lot of people into submission. You know, because they're like, yo, we can't do nothing with this guy. You know. Now, again, I'm not a believer that anything's going to happen to him with this whole Mueller probe thing. I watch my loved ones watch the news every night waiting for the shoe to drop, and I'm like, man, that shoe ain't dropping. You know, I mean, again, hopefully things work out in that regard, and he does wind up getting held accountable. But I don't think it's likely, man.
I think
there's going to be a fall guy, and the fall guy's going to get his, going to get, what do they call it? When he pardons him.
Golden parachute.
They're going to pardon him. Like,
they're going to catch up to him. Only reason I say that is because they following the money, man. Because they know if they follow that money, who is going to lead them to? Because that's the only way these guys motivate. You know what I'm saying?
If they follow the money, like, the money goes past the president. Like, they don't want nobody following the money. Like, so it's never going to get so high up that you look past the top. You know what I'm saying?
See, they're looking into his organization now.
And that's where it gets real, because the organization is not protected like he is. He's protected as the president. The organization is fair game, and that's why. Not to say, again, I don't think nothing's going to happen. I just don't think anything as big as people hope will happen will happen. Now, the one thing that is interesting is the New York State Attorney General is doing his thing behind the scenes, because Mueller is a federal thing. So the president has sway on the federal level. The state AG can do what he wants. He can't veto him. He can't fire him. He can't overrule him. If he's indicted in New York, he's got to deal with that. You know, so I think that's where he does have a little bit of an issue, is he has certain states that got it out for him because of the things he's done, especially that the AG in New York.
He got a lot of enemies,
you know.
This guy got a lot of enemies, man. And that's one thing in particular I could see with him. He got more enemies than Obama had, man. And that's hard to do, and that was just from him being who he was.
You know what's interesting, though? Even if that's the case,
his own party.
I would say even if that's the case, though, they fear him. Like, I'm telling you, man, I really do think a lot of these guys fear Trump, where they didn't respect Obama. And again, it comes with him being, being a brother. And it's like, we don't have to respect you. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what they did for 8 years. Whereas with Trump, I think they're like, yo, man, they have a little bit of healthy fear for him, it looks like to me. You got a few people who'll talk. You got a few people who'll come at him. But I think overall, there's a bunch of them that on that Debo stuff. When you're around, I'll be quiet. But when you leave, I'll be talking again. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's how it is. Because that dude just seems like he has no filter, and he's unpredictable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean in that regard? Well, I think people they're intimidated by him, man.
Like, he's ready to cut ties. He's going to impose his will, and he's either going to get down or lay down.
And that's how he's rolling.
Yeah, people ain't with it.
This is the reason I say he got more enemies than Obama, though, because he's not a politician. He doesn't have those ties in those arenas the way that people who have been in the game 15, 20 years may have. He doesn't have those relationships. He doesn't even understand how the game is played. He just comes in and just like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And they're like, yo, we don't have a problem with what you're doing, but we do have a problem with how you're doing it. This isn't how we get things done.
Right.
You supposed to show them what's going on in the left hand and have the right hand doing something. You know what I'm saying? And he not following protocol, and that's what frustrates them to the T. Because he's like, yo, this ain't, you want to attach your name to the Republican Party.
You're going to mess this all up.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like, you fucking up the whole town, nigga. Like, but what they gonna do with him? Right. Like you said, he in the seat now.
Like, he got the playbook. Like, he understands that politics moves. Like, the lifeblood of it is money, it's business. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he's making plays that are putting people that are in charge of the PAC funds, the lobbies that he's, you know what I'm saying, his interests are tied to. And everyone's happy in his base. Everyone else could be mad, but the money coming.
This dude just said, I almost have the cabinet I want. I'm like, what? You've been in office for a year. Like, again, there's some things like if Obama said that, Fox News would be on it for a week. This guy, a year into his presidency, is saying his cabinet almost looks like it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Around to it.
He has no clue
You know?
what he's doing, man. He
just-
don't know what the. How you just show up for a job like that, though?
Right.
He literally just showed up for it.
And half his cabinet did. Look at Rick, what's my man's name? The guy, Rick Scott. Rick Scott? The guy who used to be the governor of Texas. Like, he literally thought when he took over the Department of, I forgot what it was, Department of Interior, something like that, like he was talking about, he thought he would have the nuclear codes. They're like, no, that's not what you're in charge of. Like, you just got the job. It's yours. You don't even know what the hell your department does.
But he was like, but Trump,
The only one who had some
he's saving
sense
people anyway.
was Ben Carson. Because remember they offered him that job and he was like, nah, I don't think I'm qualified. And everybody was like, nigga, you for president. And he was like, nah, you ain't putting me. You know what I mean?
He's in HUD. He don't even know what the hell to do there, man.
Listen,
Like,
how much can go wrong in HUD though is what he's thinking. He's like,
yeah,
yo,
and he's,
Like,
he's
yeah, I'll
doing,
take
he's doing
something
that.
easy like that Betsy lady, Betsy Devio.
boss.
Like,
Yo,
Boss.
I'm glad you brought her up. I was
Oh my
watching
gosh.
this. I was watching this SNL skit this morning. If you get a chance, Google the SNL skit. She is such a bird brain. Like, and you know how we try to tell our kids not to call people names. Like, yo, she's a bird brain.
Yeah, I don't tell my kids that shit.
yeah, like call a spade a spade.
Listen, man. If you listen to this lady, the lady doing the skit, you swear to God, just like the Trump thing, you swear to God you're watching a real person. Like, and I wish I could do it justice and kind of give some of the lines they had. Hilarious,
I
because
like
this
to see
lady
the bad
is
impression.
clueless. Yeah, right? Yo, she is clueless.
I
Oh
think
my
her
God.
brother is the guy that runs Black.
Yo, her brother's a certified killer.
Yeah. You know what I'm
She's a
saying?
dunce and her brother is a killer.
Eric Prince, I believe his name is.
Yeah, contractor, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See, like
I'm
I'm
talking
weary
about
of
some
dunces in high
crazy
places
shit.
because, like George Bush Jr. Like, yeah, he was an idiot, but he was another one that was probably crazy like a fox. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, oh, y'all think I'm a dummy? I'm gonna be a dummy on TV.
Right.
And y'all gonna let me do what I want to do. They got WMDs.
Right.
What? No, we just wanted to kill Saddam. And you let him do it because you're like, he doesn't know what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. He's just telling you he doesn't know what he's doing, so let that shit slide. Like, we suffer dummies.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know? I didn't know. I don't think anybody expected this guy, Trump, to be where he is now. I don't even think he expected it, to be honest with you. I think he was surprised. You
But he
know?
mobilized.
But, you know, from my perspective, fuck it, it's another day. You know what I mean? Whatever the storm is that comes, we'll still be here.
Like,
when
I
it
just
blows
hope we
over.
realize that he can end up another 4 years in office if we don't get our shit
That's
together.
likely. That's likely.
Like, because
You know, but I think that's again where, you know, and again, I think politics is like religion, right? You can't tell nobody their politics or their religion. Like, you just can't. It's impossible.
that's bullshit.
You know? No, it's true. Because try to tell somebody who don't believe in Christ or Muhammad or whatever that they need to. Nah. Like, it just doesn't jive with who they are. That's, you know, I think that's just, it's personal.